All right, so if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in getting a Yongnuo 16mm lens or a Yongnuo 11mm lens. And if you do any amount of research, you know that Sony has a 15mm version and Sony has their own 11mm version. But the problem with that, let me reset my focus point. That's not the lens freaking out, that's me. But the problem with those lenses is that those lenses cost you about $1,000 if you want both of them. And these will cost you under $500 for both. And these lenses are arguably better. They have better controls, metal builds. This one has an aperture that you can click and declick. These are two very competitive options that are better than the Sony 11mm, the Sony 15mm, and even better than the Sigma 60mm f1.4 and the Viltrox 13mm 1.4 and the Samyang 12mm f2. I've actually had and tested all those lenses and I've settled on these for a couple reasons, which I'm going to share with you guys right now. Also, I'm going to put the lens covers on there because it's kind of stressing me out. So yeah, we're going to do a quick unboxing of one of these lenses, both of these lenses. I don't know. We're going to do a quick unboxing of these lenses, show you what comes inside. We're going to answer some questions. Who are they for? Are they better than their Sony counterparts? How's the autofocus? And if you're lucky and I feel up to it, I might even do a vlog test with the 11mm f1.8 because that's its main use case. You can use it for whatever you want, obviously, but I'm shooting this on the Sony FX30, so you have an understanding of what the image would look like on the 6700, the ZV-E10 Mark II, because they use the same sensors. So yeah, let's get into it. Also, there's a major heat wave in New York City, so if you see me sweating to death in this video, that's why. All right, so here we go. We've got the Yongnuo 11mm f1.8. It's got quick autofocus. It's got eye autofocus. It's got aperture range. It's got an FN button. It's got a fluoride coating. It's got multi-layer coating, which is good for flaring when you're outside. A 1.8 aperture for that blurry depth of field. Obviously, we all want that. 0.15 millimeter close focusing distance, which is great. It's lightweight. You can update the lens via USB-C. It's silent focusing as well. And also it comes with a remote control, so you can wirelessly control it. If you're doing that kind of thing, I'm not, so I didn't get that remote. Here's a look at the lens. It is very lightweight. Let's take off the lens hood. It's also pretty compact comparative to other lenses you might be using for vlogging. Obviously the Sigma 16mm f1.4 is a very popular lens. This is still a better alternative. Here's the front element. 58mm front thread, which is great because you don't have a massive front element, but you still have 1.8, which is more than enough for a good depth of field. Here's a button, which you can program to different functions. You got the switch, and then you've got the declicked aperture. So if you want to do a smooth aperture, pull, you can, if you're doing video or something. I have it unclicked. So that way when I'm vlogging, some of these lenses don't have this click, and when you're vlogging, it's too smooth. And when you're holding the lens on the camera, they'll actually knock out and go to 2 instead of 1.8. Obviously, you want to keep it at 1.8. The lens itself has a rubber gasket right here, which I'm pulling. You can barely see it, but that's some weather sealing on there. That's the back of the lens. And then right here, this is where your USB-C, if you can see that, let me put this back on. This is where your USB-C spot is. So let me see if I can open this up for you guys. See, that pulls out and you have a USB-C port. That USB-C port allows you to update the firmware, so this lens will always be compatible as long as they keep it in the rotation, and it just pushes in like that. So yeah, great lens. Nice compact lens hood, which is reversible. I hate when lenses don't have reversible hoods. This one is reversible, so for storage, it's more compact. And then obviously if you want to put it on here, there you go. So very nice, small, compact lens for 270 bucks. Let's see what it looks like on the FX30. This is what it looks like on the Sony FX30. It looks similar on the ZV-E10, ZV-E10 II, Sony A6700. Most of those bodies, they just have a smaller grip. Comparatively, it looks nice. And essentially what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you the footage off of this lens on this FX30 at 11mm, so you guys have a perspective for talking head videos, which is how I would use it. And then I'll also give you a vlogging sample here in New York City, so stay tuned for that.
It's heavy.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, so
there's C-mount.
Can I get a second, please? Thank you, sweetheart. They're so pretty. So yeah, here's your vlog test. I'm at Whole Foods. I just finished a run, so my face is probably red as hell. It's also so much like artificial light, and then actually, you know, there's some natural light here. So yeah, here we go. Stabilization test. Standard. So standard stabilization test in Whole Foods. I'm walking. You see me walking. I have the camera on a tripod. It's pretty steady, and there's no punch-in. There's no punch-in this perspective when you do it like this. And I'm gonna walk back down the aisle. This is probably not the part of New York City you guys want to see. Let's do active stabilization, and now this is active stabilization. So as a intermediate crop, I don't know, 1.5 times crop, and the stabilization should be much better. But again, this is with the 11mm f1.8 at 1.8. but with the ND filter, so it should be decent wide. All right, here we go. I told you the 11mm is stupid wide at f1.8. Here's the 16mm f1.8. And there's a couple things that you'll note right off the bat. I'm keeping the camera in the same spot for continuity's sake, but you can see my hair light right here, which technically I think I should bring that higher, whatever. But maybe you'll see what I mean, where I'm definitely like more scrunched into the frame. I look skinnier, which some people might like that. It's not a bad thing, but it's just an aesthetic choice. Technically speaking, I would get closer to the camera, so I would have more compression. So I would look better. Right now, this width is like way too, like I can expand my whole arms corner to corner if I wanted to. So this isn't an ideal talking head perspective. This is ideal for vlogging because you can get really nice and close up even with the stabilization on. Personally, I would get closer like this. My microphone doesn't reach that far. Let's just leave it like this. Technically, if I was doing a talking head perspective, my girlfriend keeps texting me, I would be doing it like this. I'd be super close up, and you love me, I get it. And this isn't bad. This definitely works too, but it is an acquired taste, I would say, when it comes to lenses. So we're gonna end this on the 16mm f1.8. Hopefully I answered all your questions. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Just to reiterate, to simplify it as much as possible, if you're on a budget and you want a wide angle lens to use for stabilization vlogs on any Sony camera, get the Yongnuo 11mm f1.8. You will not be disappointed with that. It is the most bang for buck, 250, small, lightweight, compact, metal build, everything amazing. And lastly, you should avoid the Sony 11mm and the Sony 15mm f1.4 unless you're a purist and you're really getting those lenses because of the colors that they produce, which is probably rare. Most people are not trying to match colors for this type of work. Not on those lenses. They're not professional lenses. They're just overpriced. Sony's lenses are overpriced. They're cheaply made, and there are clearly better alternatives, which is what you're looking at right now. So yeah, that's my long-winded video when it comes to picking a lens for your APS-C crop sensor Sony camera bodies, or full frame. You can use this on full frame too. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.